you haven't seen that yet, you can definitely go check that out on our coverage page. Michael Egolf, he's playing mono red aggro. Both these players are 10-2, and he's starting it off with a beautiful mountain I know you approve of.
Absolutely.
And a Founder Street Denizen.
So, Hyuk's black cards in this matchup I don't think are particularly good. A couple removal spells. Pogon's command can be good if the game goes on for a long time, but probably won't be good early on in the game. So I think that Hyuk is a little bit behind in the matchup overall because he's taking some damage for his land. He has some inconsistencies, and the black cards aren't very good. His most important card in the matchup, in my opinion, is Dragon Fodder, which is very good against a deck that's cranking out a lot of one-toughness creatures. And if Hyuk is able to find his Dragon Fodders, that might be able to overcome the deficit he has because of his mana.
The attack there from the Monastery Swiftspear. Now we'll see what Egolf does have. I'm not even sure if he has a second land in his hand.
This is also another way to win a difficult matchup is your opponent not playing land number 2.
Zergo Bell Striker triggers the Foundry Denizen. There's an attack for 2. Egolf will take the lead as Hwang will draw a card. Taking the bow tie approach today. I like it.
A little bit more formal for day 2 of competition.
Yes. Very Ken Crocker-esque. A swamp here for Hwang.
Another issue for Hyuk in the matchup here is one of the cards he's splashing for is Thoughtseize. Not something you're looking for in this kind of matchup.
Yeah, bad news in this matchup. That'll be a Dragon Fodder. That is a good card in this
That's
matchup.
the card. I mean, in my opinion, that's the best thing Hyuk brings to the table here.
Prowess Trigger makes that Monastery Swiftspear 2/3. We'll see if he wants to keep attacking. He attacked last turn. He's attacking this turn. In for 2. Egolf, no blocks. And a passing of the turn. A land off the top is timely there for Egolf. Get to play a little more Magic now. He also has a Dragon Fodder, which means 2 Goblin tokens will be joining the party. Founder T Denizen getting a little bit tougher. Here come the Knuckleheads. I think you probably want to trade off a Founder Denizen, though you could double block Zergo.
I think that it's better to get the Founder Street Denizen off the table. Michael's going to be on pure offense. Founder Street Denizen can block in some spots. It's more damage this turn. And you can always dash the Zergo Bell Striker later, so it's a pretty straightforward block.
Both these players look to be mana light. I agree with you. The splash card here, I think we're going to see the Thoughtseize get cast. Just not a great card in this matchup. I still think you have to cast it, and Thoughtseize is a very powerful card, just not great in this particular matchup.
Well, if Hyuk wants to attack this turn with the Swiftspear, he needs to play some sort of spell, unless he's willing to trade the Swiftspear for 1 token, which is pretty rough.
He'll just pass the turn back, no attacks at all, looking to play a little bit of defense.
Yeah, maybe trying to set a little trap with something like Lightning Strike here.
And speaking of Lightning Strike, Egolf has one of those. So he'll take care of old Swiftspear. Shrug those shoulders, get in with everybody.
And Hyuk just needs to block and remove as many things as possible. He is the control deck here, both by nature of his splash color, and he has things like Outpost Siege, Chandra. He's got a bigger deck here, so he's just got to be blocking, preserve his life total, trade as much as possible.
You got Lightning Strike for Zergo. Traded a token with a token, so just 1 Goblin left over. Now here's Thoughtseize. Get a look at Egolf's hand. You know it's spells. Heal Cutter, 2 Lightning Berserkers, and a Mardu Scout.
Yeah, this is not where you want Thoughtseize. A hand of all the same stuff.
Pretty much. You're not excited to take any of these cards.
Yeah, this is where Thoughtseize is not that much different from your opponent chooses and discards the card, because everything's the same.
He'll select the Mardu Scout. See if Hwang has a follow-up play. Looks like he does. It's a Zergo Bell Striker. Pass that turn back. That's better than the Goblin token that's out there. Egolf will draw. Copy of Founder T Denizen. There's Lightning Berserker. Here's a dash with it. Looks like no blocks.
Yeah, and if I'm Hyuk, I'm going to put a block here if Michael's going to allow me to. Michael could prevent a block here by pumping before blocks are declared because of the Iron Claw or Tex on Zergo.
Yep.
I don't know. If he's letting you block, I say you go ahead and block.
Well, it looks like he's letting him block. So that's exactly what's going to happen, and Hyuk's going to take the opportunity to do that. So just a trade of resources there.
Yep. If Michael is not blocking, or sorry, not pumping before blocks, it's indicating that he has something to do with the mana after combat. We know he has another 1-drop in his hand, so you just got to block there.
Well, a third land is here, but it's a painful one in Mana Confluence. There's a Monastery Swiftspear. Time to attack. Both these players so land light means they have a lot of cards in their hand. We have an idea of what Egolf has. What we don't know for sure is what Hwang has.
Egolf's draws are just a lot smoother, though. That's his edge here.
Absolutely. And Hyuk going to take at least one. There's Colligan's command. Gets a little interesting here.
Looks like he's shooting down the Swiftspear and going to raise dead the Swiftspear. Okay.
A little Swiftspear party.
It's not bad.
2 damage to Monastery Swiftspear that Egolf had. He'll bring his back.
If Hyuk is trying to block here, which is generally the vibe I get, Swiftspear is really, really good because if you compare it with a removal spell, if Michael gets too aggressive inside of combat, then you're blocking something, you're shooting something down, your Swiftspear grows, then you eat the thing you're blocking instead of trading. It's a very important card for Hyuk in this spot.
Swiftspear time. Got to take 1 to play Zergo. Down to 10. That Mana Confluence being helpful but painful. I think we'll be going Egolf's way here in just a moment.
I think the last card in hand is Thoughtseize, which is just, again, he kind of has to cast it because what else is going on here? But
Berserker and Heel Cutter are the leftover cards. No, select the Heel Cutter.
Well, Hyuk can block now. I mean, he has blocks to make, and the 1/1s in play currently checked by a 1/2 and a 2/2. So I think he's still in bad news long term because how does he turn the game around and start attacking? It might take a very long time. But for now, he's got things semi-stabilized.
There's Lightning Berserker. I think this is much like the same situation last time. If you get the opportunity to block that Lightning Berserker with Zergo, I think you got to take it.
And I think that Michael should be pumping here before blocks. I mean, he's the aggressor in this spot. I don't see a lot of merit in allowing him to just trade here.
There's an exchange of resources.
You're just putting the ball in his court, and right now it looks very attractive from Michael's side just to squeeze through as many points as possible.
There's a land very quickly tapping his mana. I wonder what this is going to be.
Outpost Siege or Chandra, most likely.
There's Outpost Siege.
That would have been a great turn for Chandra.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is not bad for Outpost Siege, but if the game goes on for a very long time, Michael's drawing to a myriad of things.
Michael does have a Goblin Rabblemaster in hand. The question is, does he have the third land? Not yet. The draw was Wild Slash. There's an attack for 1. Hwang's going to go down 6. Well, the card advantage engine's online.
Yeah, the risk here is how long does it take for Hyuk to turn this game around and close it out? Because Michael's got a lot of burn spells that he's drawing to. But this is, for drawing 2 Thoughtseizes and being behind early on, this is a pretty good spot. Hyuk's battled his way back.
Monastery Swiftspear is the reveal. That's a land in Bloodstained Mire. Gonna play old Swifty. I imagine just past the turn, attacking seems a little rough. There's a Wild Slash to make sure it doesn't matter. See if Egolf's able to draw that third land yet. Yes, sir. Rabblemaster's here now. Now things get tough.
This is big time trouble.
There's an attack for 2. Hwang's gonna go down to 4. And it's the Goblin that Rabblemaster leaves behind, which is so difficult. We'll see if Hwang's able to find an answer. There's a Colligan's command. That's an answer.
That's actually perfect here. He gets the same line of play that he had last turn, where he can go ahead, kill the Rabblemaster, get the Swiftspear back. Now you have a 1/2 against the 1/1s. It's hard to imagine Hyuk doesn't just inevitably get burned out of this game, but that's one of his better draws in this situation.
2 damage there. Return here. sacrifice the fetch land, go down to 3. Fish a mountain out of the deck to play the Swift Spear. Command looks good in the matchup, that's for sure.
If Hyuk is able to drive the game out, it becomes very valuable. The problem is if the game's played on a short axis, which is what Michael's trying to do, well, the Gravedigger effect is only so powerful because both players are going to have stuff in their hand to cast the whole game, and it's not the most potent thing to do. When the game drags out like this, it becomes very good.
Didn't get a great look at that draw. Here's the attacks. Simple block. 1 damage will come through. Egolf trying to finish things off. What do we have here? A Whirling Outburst is going to be real tough. Pass the turn back in Hyuk's way. Let's see that reveal. Rabble Master. The draw. He's got 3 mana. There is Goblin Rabble Master.
He drew a removal spell, he's still playing.
Yep.
And not only that, he swings the game around very quickly here.
Rabble Master can close quick.
Because Michael, this turn probably just has to go attack with all my goblins, hope for the best.
Yep.
And if you have a removal spell, that's his whole board. And Hyuk turns around and goes on the offense very quickly.
Pass the turn back. Hyuk's hoping he doesn't make an attack or draws nothing good. This is a spell of some sort. Zergo Bellstriker with dash.
And that's too much to overcome because now he beats a removal spell.
Yep, and he will concede the game. Michael Egolf is going to win game number 1 here over Hyuk Hwang. Mono red aggro up a game over red black aggro.
And you saw the draw. Hyuk drew Wild Slash that turn.
Wow.
So if Michael missed that turn, yes, he's still drawing burn spells next turn and all that kind of stuff, but that would have been swung completely around.
Well, let's take a look at the sideboards, and we will start with Hwang and his red black aggro deck as he'll be on the play here for game number 2.
2 copies of Duress, 2 copies of Ultimate Price, a Wild Slash, 2 copies of Twin Bolt, and Arc Lightning, 4 copies of Self-Inflicted Wound, 3 copies of Thunderbreak Region. So to me, the big goal here is become more of a control deck, leverage your removal, and get to a high life total and start playing some powerful stuff. So I really like Ultimate Price, Wild Slash, and Arc Lightning as good, efficient removal spells. And I would also bring in the 3 copies of Thunderbreak Region. If Hyuk is able to slow the game down, it's very, very powerful. And I think that if he boards in a lot of removal here, cut some of the clunkier cards, he can get to that part of the game.
3 Roast, 3 Searing Blood, 2 Scouring Sands, 2 Mardu Scout, a Harness by Force, 2 Outpost Siege, and 2 Vault Breakers here for Egolf. A lot of nice options for him.
Yeah, I do really like the 3 copies of Searing Blood here. Hyuk's playing a lot of cheap stuff to the table. Once you get past that, I'm not too interested in a lot of this stuff. I think that Mardu Scout's poor in a matchup where your opponent's playing a lot of 1/1s. Hyuk generates a fair bit of tokens here. The Scouring Sands is okay given what you've seen, although Hyuk's creature base is mostly 2 toughness creatures. It's just the tokens generated by Rabble Master and Dragonfire.
We'll be watching game number 2 here in just a moment, but for all of our Open Series competitors who play in this tournament, they walked away with one of these Penguin Punch playmats, and you can too all season 2 long.
And this is free to all Open Series competitors until May 23rd. There's no tricks here. You don't have to give us your address or anything. We give these things to you on site every Open Series until May 23rd.
Simple, straightforward, and a lot of people like it.
Yeah, we've had a lot of these brought to us so far this weekend.
I like it too. I'm gonna get one of these. I'm playing an Open Series in Portland.
You're gonna get one. You don't even have to pull any strings.
No.
You are playing in the Portland Open May 2nd and 3rd.
That's right.
So you'll just get that.
And this time, I'm not playing some slow, cumbersome Abzan deck.
That's good.
With Erebos, so hopefully no draws for me.
Hopefully.
Even though I had 2 last time, kind of embarrassing.
It is a little bit. There's some rust though. You don't play a lot. This is part of it, but maybe you would be well served playing a faster deck.
I will.
So there you go.
I will. Maybe one of these 2. I'm digging these red aggro decks in this format.
I like them a lot.
I just want a deck with Hordling Outburst.
I really like Whirling Outburst.
That's more my speed.
I would play 4 copies of it.
I like that card. Powerful.
I like 2 copies of Goblin Heel Cutter.
Don't want 3, only want 2.
2.
Okay.
A little expensive. Can only have so many 3s.
And no Rabble Masters.
0.
Okay. How do you feel about Wild Slash?
Positive. Not sure if the metagame's in a place right now where you want 4 in the main deck, but at least 3.
Stoke the Flames.
Busted. 4. Would play 8 if they let you.
Okay, got it. Searing Blood.
Probably in the sideboard at this point. Too much competition.
Lightning Strike.
4.
Straightforward. Easy.
Powerful. A lot of Mantis Riders floating around.
Roast.
1 or 2 in the main deck.
Ooh.
1 or 2 in the sideboard.
Like it. Dragon Fodder.
Probably 0.
I don't like that.
Like Mardu Scout.
I like Dragon Fodder.
Dragon Fighter does get more attractive with Heel Cutter because
Yeah.
then you're much less concerned about blockers.
Fire Drinker Satyr.
At least 4. At least 4.
That thing should just be a picture of you.
I don't understand how we got to a point where people are cutting that card. It's not good, the red mirrors, there's a lot of it, so I get that. But play against a lot more Obzon decks than red decks, I feel like.
The first time I think it's roasted. Cutting it.
You can always side it out. I'm not saying you have to keep it in these kind of matchups.
I'll side it in. That's what I'll do. Put that thing in the sideboard. Maybe I want a little Swiss Spear action.
I'm on the fence about Swiss Spear. I think it's okay.
Both these players have it in their deck. Here's a Final Street Denizen. Egolf already down to 19 thanks to the old Monastery Swiss Spear. We'll see what Hyuk can put together here for turn number 2. Got him out. Don't know if he has any black mana yet. And you have to imagine he sideboarded out some of those black cards like Thoughtseize.
The Thoughtseizes I have to imagine got sideboarded out. I would definitely keep in the one Murderous Cut. And Kolaghan's Command also seemed pretty good in the matchup. Those are his black cards in the main deck.
Swifty coming in again. The follow-up is Zergo Bellstriker, pass the turn. There's a Mountain. There's the Swift Spear, trigger the Denizen. Coming on in. As Michael slides a Wild Slash forward.
Suspicious.
Yeah. I don't have anything.
Well, this is pretty risky because if Hyuk has a removal spell of his own here, I guess Michael's hand's kind of forced to do this anyway, so this is fine. Not too bad if there's a Wild Slash in response from Hyuk's side.
4 damage dealt. Pass the turn back. Hyuk will draw. There's Black Mana and Bloodstained Mire. He'll have to take one to potentially search it out. There's a Swamp. Let's see what's next here for Hwang. Just gonna pass. Try to play a little defense. Not the Bellstriker specialty. There's a Rabble Master.
Well, this is one of those spots where, with Foundry Street Denizen and Swift Spear in play, oh boy. It's unlikely that Michael can attack with both creatures because he needs Whirling Outburst or Dragon Fodder to both trigger the Denizen and trigger the Swift Spear. So it's worth holding back the Zergo on defense because it probably means one of his 2 creatures can't attack.
Kolaghan's Command took care of that Rabble Master and got Swift Spear back. A lot of value there.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell Hyuk understands his role in the matchup. He is solidly the control deck.
He's the control deck here for sure.
He is looking to block trade as much as possible.
Here comes Zergo. Swift Spear hanging back on D. Pass it back. Foundry Street Denizen in the draw. That's a lightning strike going after old Swifty.
Yeah, I was about to say, if Hyuk can cobble together 2 spells here, that's pretty insane.
Yeah, not going to do that, just one, but he uses Lightning Strike to take care of the Swift Spear. Now there's an attack, so some damage will come across from the Denizens. But can he continue to try to play defense here?
It's going to be a little harder now because Michael is on 2 Denizens, so it's very likely he can trigger both of them next turn. Unlike Swift Spear plus Denizen, where it's a little problematic to try to get both of them to fire off. So I think Hyuk is likely to attack this turn, which you see, because blocking is going to be hard.
See if he has something like a Chandra here. He's got command again. 2 there. Pick this up.
That card is doing work. I mean,
it's really good.
Been a 2-for-1 every time we've seen it.
Yeah, it's been really, really good. Here's Rabble Master. Trigger. Attackers. We'll see what blocks. Does Swiftspear want to block the Denizen, or does it want to block the token? Looks like it wants to block the token.
Yep. Not looking to trade with the Denizen here.
Have to take 3 from it, though. 1 from the Rabble Master trigger, 1 from the Goblin trigger.
Yep. I mean, it's a lot, but I don't think you can afford to trade there. Michael's boards, continues to develop. I think you just got to take the extra points.
All right. See what the draw is. Got to get that Rabble Master off the table.
That is true. That's priority 1.
There's a mountain. 4 mana. Maybe. Looks like it might be Chandra. And it is. Pretty good.
It's another piece of stabilizing. You can take down the Denizen here.
Yep, that's gone. 1 and 1.
You may see him, if he doesn't have Wild Slash, he may be forced to just chump block the Rabble Master this turn to preserve his life total.
It does get interesting now on how Hyuk's supposed to attack. I wonder how aggressive he wants to be. I could see him attacking with both his creatures. 4 points of damage, put you to 9, try to get in a racing situation maybe?
He might have to attack in part because blocking is so bad.
Yeah.
Because what are his onboard blocks, assuming the last card is not a removal spell? It's probably Swiftspear chump blocking the Rabble Master and Zergo in front of a token.
He's just going to get in with Zergo. Going to hang back with the Swiftspear. Pass the turn back over to Egolf. Egolf will draw.
Oh boy.
That's Searing Blood. That is no boy. Going to cast that one, that's for sure. See you later, Swiftspear. 3 damage going to be dealt to, down to 5. Not redirecting either. Goblin token, in we go. And now Wild Slash goes upstairs. Michael Egolf's going to win this match here over Hyuk Hwang. 2 games to 0. Mono red aggro, the more traditional take, will take care of red-black aggro. And you can see where splashing can't be powerful. Kolaghan's command looked very, very good, but Egolf was able to overcome those.
It's just an issue of the mana. Hyuk had some inconsistencies there. Drew mana confluences. Game 1 drew a couple copies of Thoughtseize against a redundant stalled on mana opponent, which is not what you're looking for there.